Hello interwebs, my name is Spencer Smith, team rider here for DB Longboards, and today we're going to be talking about how to cook up a delectable longboard sandwich, aka what is a longboard and what makes them so awesome. So we'll start off with decks, which are basically the bread of our longboard sandwich here. Decks are what you stand on, what is the center of the board, holds everything together. They come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. So right here we have what's called a pintail. It's a classic style, really great for cruising, carving, looks really nice and streamlined. They're usually a little flexier and softer, so they kind of dampen out the road vibrations, and they're a lot of fun. So next up we got top mounts. We call them top mounts because originally, back in the days, people made downhill boards. They always made drop boards, so it was different to ride a board top mounted. So what we see today in top mounts is sometimes they're like this, they have a micro drop, or they have a kicktail. Other times they don't really have any drop, they're just flat with rocker or a different profile like that. After top mounts we have drop-throughs. Drop-throughs are pretty cool because they get you lower to the ground. The truck is actually mounted up here and it sits down lower, giving you a lower center of gravity, a little more comfort for pushing, and a little more stability as well. And the lowest of them all is a drop board. A drop board has a platform that is lowered, and this contour is pressed into the board when it's made. These are without a doubt the most stable and the easiest to push. Sometimes they're a little bit heavier, but all in all, they're pretty rad. So, as you see here, longboards are more than just the deck. There's all this other stuff, the condiments of our longboard sandwich. First and foremost, we have the trucks. The trucks are what allows you to turn, and it's also what allows you to roll. It holds the wheels. These are made up of two parts, a hanger and a base plate. And the base plate, with all these nice little things here, called mounting hardware, is held onto the board. So mounted on trucks are wheels. Wheels are what rolls, what makes contact with the ground, what allows you to carve, grip, and do slides, fun things like that. Inside wheels are bearings. Now bearings are a simple piece of metal with these tiny little balls inside. All these rolling together go inside of a wheel, and the bearing mounts on the axle of the truck. You put it all together and you have a mounted truck. Alright, so now that we got wheels, we got our bearings, we got our trucks, there's a couple other things that go into making a truck work how it does. So you got your bushings, all these little guys. They're little pieces of urethane, the same stuff that wheels are made out of, but they're shaped a little differently and they don't have a hard core. They go on either side of the hanger, what's called board side and road side, and they dictate how much your truck turns, how much it leans, and what its response is, how quickly it turns back and forth. Alright, so making contact with the bushings are what we call washers. Washers go on one side of the bushing and they touch the bushing and either the base plate or the kingpin nut. These are meant to be kind of a barrier so the bushing doesn't get torn up by any of these hard metal parts. They can also change how your board turns and reacts. Something like this top hat washer makes a little surfier, turnier feel. A flat washer just acts as a simple barrier. As well, there are pivot cups. Pivot cups, harder versus softer, can also change how the board turns. Those go inside the base plate and contact the pivot. Almost forgot the sauce on this longboard sandwich. Grip tape. Grip tape is what makes sure your feet are stuck to these wonderful pieces of wood and composite. They have a sticky back to them. Grip tape comes in two grits. You've got coarse and you've got fine. Fine is, well, it's fine, but it is also fine. For a cruiser board, something smoother, something you might want to ride barefoot, something you want to move your feet around on a little bit, it works great. It also bends to the contours of your board really nicely. A more coarse grip tape has bigger stones and it'll keep your feet locked in. It'll be great on a downhill board, or maybe if you're riding on a lot of rough roads, places where your feet might move around. Alright guys, so that's everything that makes up a wonderful longboard sandwich. That's the tech of what rolls under your feet. So stay tuned for our next episode where we'll dive a little deeper into the depths of how to work your longboard.